The reason you're working 8 hours a day but only producing 4 hours of value isn't a time problem, it's an attention problem. We're about to expose the hidden scientific rule that dictates your peak output and show you exactly how to enter the flow state that can instantly double your results. Just let that sink in for a moment. This isn't about grinding harder or putting in more hours at your desk. No, this is about a fundamental mismatch between how your brain is actually wired for peak performance and how the modern world demands that you work. In this explainer, we're handing you the system to fix that for good. A system grounded in real neuroscience that lets you tap into that state of peak performance whenever you need it. All right, let's get visual with this. Over on the left, that's what most of our work days look like, isn't it? 8, 9, maybe even 10 hours of just fragmented effort. You're constantly bouncing between emails, Slack notifications, and back-to-back meetings, trying to squeeze in some real work in the margins. And the result? Well, let's be honest, it's inconsistent and often mediocre output. But now look at the right. This is the alternative. 4 hours of pure, uninterrupted, high-intensity focus. The output here isn't just double, it's on a whole other level of quality. This is the heart of the deep work paradox. True value comes from the intensity of the attention you invest, not the amount of time you spend. So how do we get you to that 4-hour flow state? Well, we've built a roadmap. First, we're going to unpack the paradox of work. Then, we'll identify the real enemy, the attention residue crisis. Next, we'll give you the weapon to fight back with, the deep work system, and show you the neuroscience of focus that makes it all possible. After that, we get super practical with your 4-hour implementation plan. And finally, we'll show you how this all comes together to become your new superpower. Okay, let's dive right in. The core problem that you and I are facing every single day is a constant battle for our focus. We live in a world that is literally engineered for distraction. Our work environments are built for interruption, where just looking busy is often mistaken for being productive. But here's the hard truth. Your brain can only do its absolute best work, the brilliant, innovative stuff, when it's allowed to concentrate on one single, demanding task for an extended block of time. Everything else is just busy work. Now, let's look at how this problem snowballs into a full-blown crisis. See, it's not just the distractions themselves that are the issue. It's the hidden cognitive cost they leave behind, long after you've dealt with them. We're going to name this enemy so you can finally see it and fight it. Welcome to the attention residue crisis. First, we have to define the fuel for this crisis. We call it shallow work. Just think of it as all the logistical stuff that holds the modern office together. Answering those endless reply-all email chains, sitting in status update meetings where you're not really needed, or just moving info from a spreadsheet to a slide deck. These tasks aren't evil, but they're low value, they're easy to replicate, and critically, they can be done while you're distracted. The real danger is that they expand to fill up your entire day, creating this illusion of productivity while generating almost zero actual value. And this right here, this is the destructive mechanism behind it all. It's called attention residue. Here's how it works. Say you're working on a complex report, and you quickly switch over to check an email. Even when you switch back to the report, a part of your attention, a residue, is still stuck thinking about that email. Your brain is never fully present. It's like trying to have a deep conversation with someone while you're still thinking about a text message you just read. You are literally operating with a fraction of your available brain power. And the cost of this is just mind-blowing. Research from the University of California, Irvine found that it takes, on average, 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get back to your original level of focus after just one interruption. Let that sink in. Every quick question from a coworker, every notification that pops up, every glance at your phone, it costs you over 20 minutes of focus. You have just 4 or 5 of those in a morning, and your chance of doing any truly deep, meaningful work is completely wiped out. So here's the bottom line, plain and simple. Working in a state of constant distraction can slash your cognitive output by up to 40%. You're not just working slower. The actual quality of your thinking takes a massive hit. And listen, this isn't because you lack willpower. It's because the system you're working in is actively fighting against your brain's natural ability to perform at its best. So how do you fight back? You don't just try harder, you install a new system. Deep work is a structured, strategic framework designed to systematically eliminate distractions and create the perfect environment for your brain to hit that state of intense focus. Think of it as your personal rebellion against the culture of constant connectivity. And this system is built on 3 unbreakable pillars. First, a monastic commitment to create a sanctuary for your focus. Second, time blocking for depth, to proactively schedule and fiercely protect that time. And third, the ritualization of focus, to make entering this high-performance state as effortless as flipping a switch. The first pillar is your monastic commitment. This is all about designing your environment for focus. During your deep work session, you go full-on scorched earth on distractions. Your phone isn't just on silent, it is in another room. All notifications are off. All unnecessary tabs on your computer are closed. You are creating a fortress of solitude, sending an undeniable signal to your brain. For the next 90 minutes, this one thing is all that matters. This is a zero-tolerance policy. Pillar 2 is time blocking. Look, deep work doesn't happen when you find the time. It happens when you make the time. This means opening your calendar and scheduling these focus sessions as if they are the most important meetings of your week. Because frankly, they are. The key is to schedule them during your peak energy windows, when your mind is naturally at its sharpest. And you're not trying to go all day. You schedule intense 90 to 120-minute sprints. This aligns perfectly with your brain's natural ultradian rhythms, those cycles of high and low energy we all have. And each block is dedicated to one and only one cognitively demanding task. Okay, so you've got the what, now for the why. And this part is crucial, because to really commit to this system, you need to understand the profound biological changes it's triggering inside your brain. This isn't just a collection of productivity hacks. This system is engineered to create real physical changes that unlock peak performance. We're going to look at two key mechanisms, the famous flow state and something called myelin formation. The number one goal of the deep work system is to reliably get you into a state of consciousness that psychologists call flow. You probably know it as being in the zone. It's that magical state of optimal human performance where you are so completely absorbed in what you're doing that the rest of the world just melts away. Time seems to bend, your sense of self vanishes, and your performance just goes through the roof. So what's actually going on in your brain during flow? Well, you get a flood of performance-enhancing neurochemicals like dopamine and norepinephrine, which jacks up your focus and creativity. But here's the coolest part. The area of your brain responsible for self-doubt and your inner critic, the prefrontal cortex, temporarily deactivates. That nagging voice in your head goes silent, which allows you to execute with speed, confidence, and precision. You literally get out of your own way. But there's another, even deeper, long-term benefit. Deep work literally builds you a better, faster brain. Every time you focus intensely on a specific skill, you're firing the same neural circuits over and over again. This repetition signals your brain to wrap those circuits in a fatty tissue called myelin. Now think of myelin as the insulation on a high-speed fiber optic cable. It makes the signals in your brain travel faster, stronger, and more efficiently. The more you focus, the more myelin you build, and the better and faster you get at that skill. This right here, this is the physical basis of talent and expertise. When you see a world-class musician, a brilliant software developer, or an amazing writer, what you are really seeing is the result of a highly myelinated brain. Their skill isn't some kind of magic, it's myelin. And the only way you build that myelin is through thousands of hours of the exact kind of intense, uninterrupted focus this deep work system is designed to produce. All right, let's get practical. You understand the problem, you understand the system, and you understand the science. Now, here is your exact 3-step plan to put this into action today. These are the non-negotiables for achieving that 4-hour flow state. Here's the game plan. Step 1, schedule the 4-hour gap. Step 2, execute the ritual launch before every single session. And step 3, adopt a brand new metric for success. Track depth, not time. Let's break each one down. First things first, you schedule it. I mean right now. Open your calendar and find 2 120-minute blocks or maybe 3 90-minute blocks during your peak energy window for tomorrow. Block them out. Label them deep work. These appointments are now sacred. They are non-negotiable. They are protected from all meetings, all emails, all interruptions. This is the single most powerful action you can take to get started. Second, you create a launch ritual. Your brain loves routines. A consistent ritual acts like a trigger, a cue that tells your brain, hey, it's time to focus. It can be super simple. Clear your desk, get a glass of water, turn off your phone and Wi-Fi, and open your work. Then, and this is key, state your specific intention out loud. For the next 90 minutes, my only focus is finishing this design component. This simple 5-minute routine creates a conditioned response, bypassing the need for willpower and making it automatic to get into deep work. And finally, you have to change how you measure success. Stop being proud of working for 8 long hours. Start being proud of producing 2 hours of pure, uninterrupted deep work. At the end of each session, don't just note that you worked for 90 minutes. Note what you produced. How many lines of code did you write? Did you solve that complex problem? Did you finalize the strategic plan? Your metric becomes tangible output, not just time spent in a chair. This shift in measurement is the key to optimizing for what actually matters, creating value. So let's bring this all home. The ability to focus without distraction on a single important task, it's becoming incredibly rare in our economy. And because it's so rare, it is becoming incredibly valuable. Mastering this skill isn't just a neat trick to be more productive. It is your ultimate competitive advantage. It's your new superpower. In a world that is built on distraction, the question is, are you ready to protect your single most valuable asset? That's your focus. So let's recap. Deep work is the answer to the problem of fragmentation and low-value output. What matters is that it gives you a systematic way to predictably generate 8 hours of value in just 4 hours. We connected the framework, the Monastic Commitment and the Ritual launch, directly to the psychology of how it triggers the flow state and builds real neurological expertise through myelin. So the final takeaway is this. True productivity isn't about doing more. It's about mastering systems that make focus effortless.